come back on those criminal background checks and let you know if your selection is going to meet the criteria for the county. And then after that, you can go ahead and make that final appointment. So I anticipate that you, if you want to, you can select on that date so we can proceed with criminal background checks, or you can mull it over and come back in December and make that selection, but the final appointment won't be done until after that point.
Okay, well, we will go through all the interview process and you'll go through their application. So we'll have a pretty good idea. We make the selection, who we choose, you go through the process, and if there's something that comes on that pops up in your investigation on the background, we can readdress it, but we would have our candidates selected. I really want to be fair to the former employer and the
I
candidate.
apologize, but this is starting to get away from
Okay.
the scheduling, and this is more of the details
I'm
of
trying
the
to get the
process.
date right.
Right.
Okay.
No, I-
So let's just go with,
Let's just,
Why don't we do a regular meeting on the 10th, a
Yeah.
special meeting on the 17th, and then if we do have some items, some extra items to bleed on, we can add them to the 17th,
I got
but we're not trying to do it all in one big meeting,
it, I like that.
And then nothing on the 24th then.
and nothing on the 24th.
that works for me.
Yeah, make that motion, Jay.
I would make that motion.
I would second that.
Or I don't, do we want to do December or second?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's get that one done too.
So do your motion to include the December meeting.
All right, and then December, how do we want to handle December? Do we want to target middle of the month, kind of like what Ian was talking, shoot for just one big meeting on the 15th?
That works. I like that.
All right, so we'll do a regular meeting on November 10th, a special meeting on November 17th, and a regular meeting on December 15th. That's my motion.
That's good. I second that.
Motion by Shane and a second by Lori. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Passed unanimous. Thank you all. We'll go now back into our regular meeting at our regular time. And we are on page 2. And it's a 9:05, let's see, it's 9:30, the road commission meeting. Discussion only is item 1 on primary and secondary roads within White County and county facilities, completed and future projects, communications with corporations and governmental agencies. Martin Trout, lead supervisor. Martin?
The county roads that have been maintained have been Snake Creek, Big Wash, Egan, Cherry Creek County Site, the Pope Road, Shelburne Road, Baker Cutoff, and the Cave Lake Road. We have fog sealed the Duck Creek Highway, Larson Ranch Road, Oxborough Lane, and Mitchell Road. Right-of-way mowing has consisted of certain streets in the township of McGill, the McGill Lanes, the Duck Creek Highway, and the Larson Ranch Road. All of the road department employees have had their MSHA refresher class completed. Road inspections have been done on WP 1177, 1204, and 05 in Newark Valley, which is ongoing. We spent some time in McGill cleaning up the snow removal area there in preparation of, hopefully we'll have to haul snow this year. We've been screening material for NDOT off the 212 pit. It's been a project trade. NDOT has chip sealed, fog sealed, and striped our section of the Preston Loop Road down in the Lund area. And they've also helped us with fog sealing and the Duck Creek Highway. And NDOT will be striping the Root Highway for us and the Duck Creek Highway. Probably the end of this week to the first of next week is the schedule we're giving you. The county road department also assisted the city of Ely with chip sealing some of the city streets. And the city of Ely owes White Pine County 246 hours in the county city assistance agreement. unless there's any questions.
Any questions of Martin on his report?
No.
No, that sounds good, thanks, Martin.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, we'll move on to item 2. Item 2 is discussion for possible action, approval to give the department head supervisor / supervisor of the road department the authority to close roads in emergency situations as defined herein, as well as the ability to close roads for traditional events such as parades. All closures made in this fashion shall come before the Board of County Commission for ratification as soon as reasonably possible thereafter. Travis?
Yeah, I was working with Bill on an issue, and this had just came up, really wasn't clear. Basically, it's just saying if, you know, some sort of emergency situation comes up, the county road director can close that road and then come before us for, you know, ratification. That way, there doesn't have to be a special meeting called or any of this kind of stuff. And then the same for traditional events. Sometimes the organizers forget to ask the day before they call Bill. And, you know, he's just kinda gotta say, well, we'll do it, and, you know, it hasn't come before the board, so this just gives a little flexibility to kind of fill these cracks. Once again, we still have all the authority and, you know, control by ratifying those actions, so, you know, we have no worries with Bill, but a future road supervisor, you know, would still have to come back and justify everything in front of the board.
Okay.
This kind of action, as Travis said, happens all the time. They forgot to notify me for the Georgetown Ranch closure for the 4th of July, which they always do. So they called me up, like, can we do it? I'm like, yeah, it's a safety thing. I don't know why the board would have any problems with it, but the organizers always forget to come forward, and I'll forget that it's on like their calendar, and so this is kind of happening anyway, so this just kind of cleans it up, and I appreciate it.
Sure.
Any questions of Bill or Travis? Okay, look for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Motion by Travis,
Second.
second by Shane. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Thank you.
Passed unanimously.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Item 3 is discussion for possible action and approval of the minutes from the road commission meetings held on August 25th, 2021. Does anybody have any additions, subtractions, or corrections? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes. Motion by Ian,
Second?
second by Lori. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, so we are ahead of schedule, so let's go along the line. And I guess to the next page, let's go to page 3, item A, county commission. Item 1 is Vice Chairman Travis Godon. It's item A is discussion for possible action and approval to update the county personnel policy to include the following. Item A is no county employee shall ever be required to take any vaccine, including vaccines for COVID-19, as a means for employment. Health, dental, vision, and life insurance, retirement benefits, and any other benefit employee programs. No federal, state vaccine mandates will be adhered to by the county, and this policy stands regardless of these governing bodies' protocol based upon the vaccination status for any disease, including vaccination for COVID-19. Next bullet point is no county employee shall be subject to frequently occurring testing protocol for COVID-19 or any other similar disease for the sake of satisfying any state, federal mandate regulations. Testing can still occur if there is a reasonable cause for exposure, symptoms, etc. And the final bullet point is no county employee shall ever be asked or forced to discuss vaccination status for any disease, including COVID-19. Travis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward here. You know, at the end of the day, if we don't stand up, we're gonna lose a bunch of our deputies. We're gonna lose a bunch of, you know, name every department, 25%. So, you know, you guys, everyone has their own view on this, but, you know, if we don't stand up, you know, that's what's gonna happen, and, you know, gotta be ready to fight. You know, money, all these things, lawsuits are gonna hit us, but, you know, I don't wanna treat our employees like cattle, and that's my view on it.
Okay, anyone else?
I just wanted to, see if the Sheriff Henwood wanted to speak to that, where Commissioner, Godon mentioned deputies. I don't mean mean to put you on the spot, but where it was mentioned, I thought maybe it'd be appropriate to.
I mean, there's a movement across the country where police agencies are requiring their officers to be vaccinated, and they're leaving because of that status. So I don't expect that here because the mandates aren't enforced, but, or are they actually coming down the pipe? But you can see the state's progression. You know, the state is moving forward and requiring a lot of state employees to either be vaccinated or tested weekly. So I don't know, you know, if that's ever gonna come to White Pine County. I hope it doesn't. I'm not sure at what point we just threw HIPAA out the window where, you know, we don't ask these questions, but it seems like we do nowadays. I don't, as the sheriff of our community, I don't ask my members of my staff if they are vaccinated or not. That's a freedom of their choice, and I respect that choice. You know, in my opinion, you're either gonna get COVID or you're gonna get vaccinated. And if you get vaccinated, you're probably gonna get COVID anyway. They say the health consequences of that might not be as serious as if you are vaccinated. So each one of us has to take that responsibility and work our way through this problem that's facing our nation and our world. So, you know, I support Mr. Godon in this. I think it's a personal choice that each one of us has to do. And so I throw my support behind you. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
So, and just to point out, this isn't an ordinance, this is just a resolution of support.
Now, this would update the county personnel policy, number 1. A.
Okay, but, yeah,
B
sorry.
is the resolution.
Okay. We are a government entity. We have rules and there's 3 different branches of government: executive, legislative, judicial. The state mandates, we cannot, if the governor in fact comes down on us and tells us this is his edict, we can as individuals say, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to wear the mask if you go into businesses or whatever. But to take this type of stance, and this is my opinion, I'm just not being political, I'm simply trying to look out for what we can and cannot do. And you correct me anytime I'm wrong, James. Putting this in place tells us that we will not adhere to any state, federal, or any other policy that dictates to us by the governor, by the president, by any other entity, that we are going to stand alone and be White Pine County, and we're not going to enforce this, this, and this. I was on the phone with Darren prior to the meeting. We had our special meeting with the COVID, with the public health last Wednesday, and we were hit with 116 cases. We're down to 75. We had 7 hospitalizations, we're down to 3. The deaths stayed the same. But what we enacted, and we had to do something, I felt, and I feel good about what we did. We did a 30-day imposed a mask mandate on county facilities and county buildings. But this particular item here, and all the things I see with it, are asking us to be a standalone county, that we will not adhere to any of these mandates that are handed down by the state, by the federal, and we're going to say no to, down the road, if there's a major epidemic or whatever, we're gonna not mandate our employees under any circumstance to be vaccinated, to have testing or anything like that. And so that's where I'm at. I don't want to go out on a limb and be someone who absolutely says no to any law that's handed to me. Go ahead,
I'd just
Travis.
like to point out,
I'm sorry, can I just jump in just because it was, a comment was directed to me. Each commissioner has the right to say what they want to say. My silence doesn't mean that I'm fact checking and agreeing with whatever you're saying. So I just for the future reference, comments like correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not going to fact check everybody's statement. You all have the right to say what you want to say. So I just want to make that clear.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, we look at what, the other side of the aisle does. Sanctuary cities, they don't obey state laws. You go on down the list, rather disagree with them if you may, they always fight like hell. When the hell are we gonna do that, all these liberal cities within conservative states don't disobey anything, or, you know, don't obey any of their edicts.